I'm trying to. Here it is. Either you, I'm just like.
Yeah, all right. Off. Okay. Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for being here today. This is the August informal hearing of the Tennessee Post Commission. Just to give a brief overview of our process today, it'll be as follows. The agency is going to present first. The commission may then ask questions of the agency. Following agency presentation, the individual respondent will have the opportunity to present. The commission may then ask questions of the respondent. After the individual is presented, the agency will have an opportunity to provide rebuttal testimony. The respondent may then provide any super rebuttal after the agency. The commission will then discuss and vote on the matter. Please note that this is an informal hearing. There'll be no introduction of evidence, witness testimony, or cross-examination today. I do need to read the chairman's conflict of interest statement before we start. All post commissioners have previously agreed to recuse themselves from any vote that would constitute a conflict of interest. The most obvious of these would include issues that involve our own departments or some we know personally. Because we have already agreed to this, it should be noted that on routine matters, it will be assumed non-verbally that these commissioners have abstained from that vote. In bigger, more controversial issues that may have a more overt conflict of interest and may have an appearance of impropriety, these applicable commissioners will still verbally abstain from those votes. We don't have our regular crew today, so we probably need to establish who are our primary voting members. Commissioner Wright, Commissioner Wilbur are primary on the subcommittee, and Commissioner Green's an alternate. So if you three want to be the primary, and then Commissioner Green, you'll be an alternate.
Commissioner, like
Greenfield, you know what I meant.
I got you.
That guy. We'll proceed with a roll call before we get started, just to establish who's here and who's not. If you hear your name or you represent that individual, please call out for us. Martin Jordan. Martin Jordan. Jerry Mifflin. Thank you, sir. Michael Reagan.
He's here and present.
Thank you, sir. Darius Bean.
he has submitted a signed agree order of surrender.
Erica Hutchinson. Erica Hutchinson. Drake O'Feely.
Here, sir.
Thank you, sir. Tyler Cravens.
He's present.
Thank you, sir. William McNally. William McNally. Jonathan Bailey. Jonathan Bailey. Jason Bowles. Jason Bowles. Sanel Milkovic.
He's present.
Thank you. Taylor James.
She is present.
Thank you. Vincent Tercey.
He is present.
Keith Velez. I think we have an order of suspension. Mr. Velez.
I believe that's correct, an agree order for pending litigation.
All right, with that, we'll start with those that are here and have acknowledged that they're present, to give those that may be stuck in traffic an opportunity to arrive, and we'll deal with those as we go there. Yes, sir.
I was going, looking at, I think Dyer County, I don't think they're able to be here, so I don't think, Mr. Jordan is able to present. I think he's in custody. So we want to just not skip over Dyer County so they can get back on that long road that I followed them up.
We can do that we'll start with Mr. Jordan. Dyer County President. I am. If you just step to the podium and identify yourself and just give us a brief overview of why you're requesting decertification on Mr. Jordan.
Sergeant Jake Flora with Dyer County Sheriff's Office. Here today for Martin Andrew Jordan. He was indicted state level and federal level for aggravated sexual exploitation of a minor and sexual exploitation of a minor, 9 counts. And since then, as of 3/25 of 2025 has been found guilty in federal custody.
So that explains his lack of appearance today.
It does. He's in federal custody now for 12 years.
Commissioner Wright, I'll make a motion to decertify.
Commissioner Wilbur, second.
All right, we have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, the motion carries. Thank you, sir. We appreciate your time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We'll move on to Fentress County in the matter of Jerry Mifflin.
Post Investigator Kevin Creed. I'm here for Mr. Mifflin and also Sheriff Reagan's cases. They're companion cases, and I believe Mr. Reagan has an attorney present that wants to make a announcement that the commission wants to hear that may affect Mifflin's case also.
That'd be fine. Go ahead, Counselor.
Afternoon, Commissioners. Jack Bird, attorney for Sheriff Reagan. This matter is still currently under investigation. I did speak with the TBI agent earlier this week. We have an interview set up on September 10th. And I believe that shortly thereafter, they will have their investigation completed. Based upon that, I'm requesting that any action be delayed until after TBI has completed their interviews and completed their investigation, provided that to the District Attorney General's conference.
Commissioner Wilbur, do we have any idea of the timeline? How many months would you be asking?
I'm fairly confident, but that by the end of September, they're going to be done.
Does the commission wish to push this to October and reassess the matter then?
Do you need a motion? I'll make a motion. Move it to October.
So we have a motion to move both cases to
Yes.
October. We have a second.
Commissioner Wright, second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries, and our investigator will just get with you on the October date, and we'll see you then.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Moving along, the matter of Drake Ophelia of the Memphis Police Department. If the Memphis Police Department would step forward first. If you just want to identify yourself, Counselor, for the commission.
Good afternoon, Jimmy Thomas, Senior Legal Advisor, Memphis Police Department. Just as a preliminary matter, spoken to Mr. O'Feely, who's not represented by counsel, but he has a pending matter in DeSoto County that looks like there may be a disposition shortly. Just in terms of put to the commission, I would have no objection to pushing it until September, until that final disposition is determined.
Commissioner Wilbur, I'll make a motion to move to September.
Commissioner Wright, second.
We have a motion and a second to continue to September. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Mr. Chairman, can we address Erica Hutchison while I'm up here? I don't believe she answered present. I know she had been convicted in federal court and has served time. I don't expect her to show today.
I did speak to her. She said she was not going to be present.
That'd be up to the commission if they want to hear the matter of Ms. Hutchinson and. Yep. Go ahead, Counsel.
Thank you. Last fall, Ms. Hutchison was convicted in federal court of conspiracy to commit felony theft in federal court. She was sentenced to 6 months in federal prison and is a convicted felon. She resigned prior to that, and we have moved for her decertification. She's also been convicted of DUI in Fayette County after she was released from prison.
Commissioner Wright, motion to decertify.
Commissioner Green, second. We have a motion and a second for decertification. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
And finally, Tadarius Bean has also indicated he has recently surrendered his license or his certification.
Yes, he signed an agreed order and we'll have that approved at the commission meeting tomorrow. I can send you a copy of that.
Thank you very much. May we be excused?
Thank you so much. Appreciate you. Thank you guys. Be careful getting back. Moving right along, Tyler Cravens in Rutherford County. We have a representative of Rutherford County here today. Good afternoon, sir. If you'll just identify yourself for the record and tell us what the matter is here with Rutherford County and Tyler Cravens.
Yes, sir. My name is Sergeant Sean Benson, Rutherford County Sheriff's Office. I'm the training NCO and GDI. Reason we're here is Mr. Cravens was placed on administrative leave back in May of 2024, pending the outcome of an internal administrative investigation, as well as an external criminal investigation conducted by the Rutherford Police Department into an allegation of patronizing prostitution. This allegation was brought to our attention first by Lieutenant with the Frankfurt Police Department and then by the victim herself in the form of Mr. Cravens was terminated from Rutherford County Sheriff's Office on 15 May 2024, stemming from the violation of multiple department policies and corroborating findings from the criminal investigation of violation of TCA 3913-514, patronizing prostitution. Mr. Cravens' actions bring disgrace upon Rutherford County Sheriff's Office as well as discredit to law enforcement profession. Mr. Cravens' truthfulness and honesty was inconsistent and best during his interviews with the detectives. Mr. Cravens' integrity to uphold the law and be truthful in all instances is in question and could have ramifications in the courtroom and the open door of the break room. Honesty and truthfulness are the cornerstones of the body of law, and as such, law enforcement officers' actions, integrity, and honesty must be above reproach. It is due to the totality of these actions by Mr. Cravens, lying, dishonesty, violation of federal policies, and criminal culpability by the department, not only to terminate Mr. Cravens was also seeking to be certified from law enforcement as well. The only thing new that has come since we brought this to the attention was the DA's office has chosen not to press charges or move forward with any charges against Mr. Cravens. The only piece of evidence I do have, I guess, is just a video interview that I don't know was ever admitted beforehand. If that needs to be looked at, I've got that on site.
Commissioner Wilbur, I'm sorry, I didn't hear what you said about the victim. She came forward,
Yes, ma'am.
so you have the victim's statement.
That should be in the evidence that was submitted originally.
I've got one page today.
That's all I got.
All I've got.
I don't have the statement with me.
But there is a statement.
There is, yes.
Do you know what the statement said, Commissioner Green? From the victim? You know what her statement was?
It was that when she delivered food to Mr. Craven's residence, he had propositioned her for sex while in the residence.
Did the sexual acts take place?
No, sir, they did not.
Did he force anything on her other than just suggesting
No, sir, he did not.
sexual interaction?
No, sir.
Any other questions of the agency? Thank you, sir. Mr. Cravens and Mr. Mitchell. You would just identify yourself for the record, please.
Good afternoon. I'm Jack Mitchell. I'm attorney representing Mr. Cravens.
I'm Mr. Cravens, sorry.
Our response is the same as it was last time, with the additional information that no charges were filed by our district attorney's office. We took offense with their statement that he was not truthful. When we were here last time, he cooperated fully, gave a full accounting of what had happened. It was a situation in which a crude comment was made to a food delivery worker at his residence. The whole exchange lasted seconds, and nothing came of it. There was no quid pro quo. There was no sex, no nothing. But the individual did make a complaint. It was followed through by both the agency and the DA's office, and nothing has come of it. And we would ask that the matter be dismissed and that his certification be restored.
Any questions for Mr. Cravens or his counsel?
It's Commissioner Green. I have a question for Mr. Cravens. In the interaction with the victim, was a suggestion of a financial transaction offered? What was the comment you made that initiated this complaint?
Oh, first I said she looked good and then pretty much asked her straight up if she wanted to.
I'm not going into more
Yeah.
details than that. Did you
So-
mention any kind of financial transaction?
I offered her $50, but it was not for a sexual action. She says she needed some money. So I was gonna give her a job to do around the house, but she just straight up went to, oh, it's sex. I was like, it's not for sex, it's for something else, so.
Have you had any other complaints against you?
No,
while you were
sir.
at the police department? Were
No,
you
sir.
in uniform when that took place?
No, sir, I was off duty at my house.
Okay.
It is worth noting there were several commendations in his employee file.
Any other questions of Mr. Cravens?
Commissioner Wilbur. I think Sergeant Benson was saying that you were dishonest when you were first brought in.
That is incorrect. The only reason why they have anything to go on is because I sat down and I told the whole account of everything that happened.
You voluntarily came forward.
They scheduled an interview. It was supposed to be with the captain. That's what I was told. When I arrived, they took me straight into an interrogation room. 2 city detectives walked in. I never spoke to anybody from Rutherford County at all during this whole process. It was strictly 2 city detectives. And then I left, went to my residence, and about an hour later, I had my termination paperwork.
So you're saying that you were completely honest with them
100%, yes, ma'am.
and you told them what you said.
Yes, ma'am, 100%.
Thank you.
Any other questions?
His finger's on the button. I'm like to sleep.
Yeah, I was trying to figure out how. Commissioner Wright. So I guess I'm kind of curious about how the complaint came up. Was she just making the complaint knowing that you was just a civilian and she would complain on anybody, or did she know that you were a Rutherford County officer at the time that happened?
The only reason why she knew that I was employed with Rutherford County is because my patrol car was parked in my driveway.
I do have a follow-up question for Sergeant Benson.
Yes, ma'am.
Commissioner Wilbur again. You're saying that he was dishonest in his interview with your office. Could you expound on that, please?
Yes, ma'am. During the interview process, started at 8:56 in the morning. At 9:02, he had finished telling his story. So in 4 minutes, he finished telling his story and said that is all that took place. And then at 9:20, he admitted and said at that point, okay, I offered her $50. So in the course of the investigation, if it would have stopped at 9:05, we would never have heard the truth of the fact that he offered her $50. So that's where we get to the 2 points at.
Did you have that information from the victim about the $50, or did you just learn about that?
No, man, that was in the statement.
So did you confront him with that $50 and that's why you have him later admitting to it? Did you confront him and say the victim said this? I know you weren't in the interview room.
On the interview, the interviewers continued to move down the path of trying to expand on getting further down the truth. They kept saying, well, most of your story lines up with hers, except there's some details that are being left out. Can you tell us this? And they just went down that road for, it looks like about 16-17 minutes until he admitted at that point.
And he admitted he offered her $50 for sex.
He said yes, and then he said right behind that, well, I'm paraphrasing here, something to the effect that, well, not necessarily for sex, but for time and services. And then the investigator had asked something to extend, well, wouldn't you expect her to assume? And I can see.
So this is Commissioner Green again. So he never actually denied anything. He just added to his story. And that's what you're saying is the falsehood.
Yes, sir.
I just want to hear one more time from Mr. Cravens. If he has any.
Absolutely.
I guess my question is, why at the beginning did you not talk about the $50?
They just asked me what happened. I just went through a quick run of the story. And then next thing you know, they just different question. And then I answered it to the 100% honesty that I had.
Thank you.
Any further questions or discussions? What's the desire of the commission here?
Based on the fact that there's lack of prosecution, he didn't actually deny doing anything. He just left out part of the story. I'm going to move to not decertify.
There'll be a motion for no action.
There'll be a motion.
Commissioner Wright, I'll second that motion.
We have a motion and a second for no action. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. So the matter is no action and it's been closed.
Very good. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Commissioner.
Move to Mr. Sunel Milovic and the Tennessee Department of Safety. If Department of Safety would like to come to the podium and just identify yourself, sir, and tell us what's going on.
Thank you, Commission. I'm Lieutenant Colonel Tim Spicer with the Tennessee Highway Patrol. Just briefly, I would like to discuss our disciplinary procedures with Tennessee Department of Safety and Homeland Security. As you generally each month, we have our Office of Professional Accountability Investigators to show up and speak on these. And they are, when we have a case, they investigate it, they're the fact finders. And they submit their reports to the district captain over that area of that affected member. And the captain looks at all the evidence, makes his recommendation, and that goes up to the major, lieutenant colonel, to colonel, and then our commissioner, Jeff Long of the Tennessee Department of Safety. And once we're in agreement on the result of that discipline, that plan is carried out and divvied out. So they're the fact finders, and then we make the recommendations. And in the case of Mr. Milovic, we feel that his actions have diminished his credibility and his ability to effectively perform the duties of a Tennessee state trooper and law enforcement officer. He has a significant history of progressive discipline within our department that started with just oral and written warnings, and then progressed all the way to suspensions, and then culminated with the harassment case where he disobeyed direct orders that ultimately resulted in this termination. And if it's permissible, I will have the OPA investigator that can go into greater detail with all the progressive discipline about Mr. Milovic come to the podium if that's permissible by the commission.
Yeah, that'd be fine.
Yes, sir.
You just want to identify yourself for the record, please.
Yeah, Chad Smith with the Office of Professional Accountability with the Tennessee Department of Safety and Homeland Security.
Thank you, sir.
Yes, sir. So with what Lieutenant Colonel Spicer was saying, we have the progressive disciplinary actions that have taken place, the various disciplinary actions. Does the board, and I guess this is my question before I start talking, but does the board wish to hear his prior history, or where would you like me to begin with?
Commissioner Wilbur, just can you give me a tally of the prior infractions that he has before the one that's bringing him here? Do you have a number, ballpark?
Yes, ma'am. 7 prior to the ones that we've got here. I've got 7 on his history.
That's not counting the one that finalized with the determination. Which was involved in on relay the last information, the previous case that initiated this. Trooper Milovic and another female trooper were involved in a romantic relationship. After the relationship ended, the other female trooper made allegations that he was harassing and stalking her, as well as stating that, and the female trooper said that she was in fear for her physical safety. And as a result of those comments, our office initiated an investigation. Pending the results of the investigation on September 4th last year, the captain of the district served Trooper Milovic with a temporary duty reassignment, placing him on administrative duties at the Chattanooga district headquarters. This temporary duty reassignment clearly stated that he was to have no contact with Trooper Jones, either directly or indirectly, or come around her in any way. He signed and dated this temporary duty reassignment on the same day, and the language in that document in part was as follows, quote, additionally, you will have no contact, either directly or indirectly, with Trooper Jones or come around her in any way. This includes communication by electronic means. This is a direct order, unquote. A second directive was issued on September the 17th, and that directive returned Trooper Milovic to a full duty status, but reassigned him to another county. That was done to prevent him from working in the same county as the other trooper. Pending the results of the investigation. He was again given a directive that, quote, additionally, you will continue to have no contact, either directly or indirectly, with Trooper Jones or come around her in any way. This includes communication by electronic means. This is a direct order. That order was still in effect on October the 2nd, 2024. He was ordered on 2 separate occasions to have no contact, either directly or indirectly. And on October 2nd, Trooper Jones reported that he followed her on the Interstate 75 on that day. Both him and her was on duty, and Trooper Milovic would have had access via the computer-aided dispatch CAD to see her location. Trooper Jones was driving south on Interstate 75 in her patrol unit. She turned around in the median at the 36-mile marker of I-75, and Trooper Milovic turned around in the median at the 36-mile marker on I-75, and also began driving south in the same direction as Trooper Jones. As he approached the rear of Trooper Jones's car, the investigation revealed that his camera was activated twice due to excessive speed on the interstate before coming in contact at the rear of her patrol car. He told the OPA investigators that he activated his Axon video camera after recognizing he was behind her. He continued south on the interstate behind her and exceeded the speed limit for 1 minute, 27 seconds. He denied speeding to catch up to Trooper Jones, and after he came directly behind Trooper Jones, he sent a text message to his sergeant while driving that he had forgotten his wallet and needed to go home. Given that, when OPA investigators questioned him about disobeying the direct order to not come around Trooper Jones, he replied, "So I violated an order. Ain't nothing I can do about that. It's my fault. I'm not denying that. That's me." Later in the OPA interview, he stated, quote, "If I violated it, and it looks like, yes, I did, I'll take the blame for it. My fault. I ain't denying that." Unquote. He said that he thought about stopping on the shoulder of the road, but said, I had to get back to the county. It's been over 2 months and figured, who cares anymore? Referencing the incident with the female trooper. He admitted that he did not notify a supervisor about the contact with Trooper Jones, and Trooper Jones then notified the captain of the district and told him that she felt intimidated by him when he came upon her on the interstate. Due to that action and disobeying the direct order, Commissioner Long found that was inappropriate, and then in taking into account his past disciplinary history and the various actions in those, the recommendation of termination was made.
Commissioner Wilbur, remind me again at what speed a trooper is going to activate his vehicle camera?
90 miles an hour.
And he had no indication of turning on his lights and sirens. He just hit the camera turned on because of his speed.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
Commissioner Wright, how long have he been a member of the Tennessee Highway Patrol?
I don't have that in front of me, but I do have to where his first disciplinary action began in 2018.
Commissioner, to answer your question, it looks like he was hired in January of 2018 with Highway Patrol.
Thank you.
Any other questions for the agency? Thank you, sir. Mr. Milovic? Thank you. If you'll just approach the podium with your counselor, and if you would identify yourself for the record, please.
Adam Mizell for here for Mr. Milovic, commissioners.
Thank you, sir. Good. You go ahead.
Okay, thank you. Just kind of a big picture observation, and I'll let Mr. Milovic address some of the details that the department's brought up. We had been with the department since 2018, and I believe the vast majority of the 7 prior issues were occurred while he had a captain that he had an ongoing personality clash. The captain kind of harassed him, but had an ongoing grudge with him and chose to make his issues look as severe as possible. The Trooper Jones that we talked about, her allegations by OPA were unfounded as to the workplace harassment. And Captain Turner continued to include that genesis of the discipline and everything after that. The blue teams is what they call it, THP. So he would repeat the part that had been found unfounded to again make my client's history look as bad as possible. And it's something there is just to mention, we are in step 3 appeal of his termination at this point, and there's a hearing set 2 weeks from now. So he's not final, that he still disputes his termination, so he's still appealing that. So he contends that it's not clear what the department based his termination on. In some of their records, they tell him don't worry about the Jones incident. It's not about that. We reviewed your cumulative history because of this, but that doesn't matter. That it was the underlying issue was unfounded. So he's got different bases that he's trying to address on why he was even terminated. I think we're landing now on a cumulative disciplinary history that was triggered by an incident that was unfounded as to the workplace harassment complaints. And as far as the other trooper being afraid of him, she filed a police report with the Chattanooga Police Department outside of the chain of command, and she made no mention of being afraid of my client. In fact, she went out over way to say she's not afraid of him, and he's actually the one who ended the relationship. So I think it's more of a lover's quarrel and a personal dispute for those two as far as that goes. He's got evidence that he did not send a text message when he was behind her based on a timestamp with the text message he sent. And one of his step appeals, they didn't want to see that evidence. He has that with him, and we'll include that in his step 3 appeal. So I believe the majority of those allegations he would dispute, but I'll let Mr. Milovic address it. The rest of the details on the department.
And what he said on the messages, I was not behind it. I was speeding, like I said, but I was in Bradley County. It took 34 miles before I ran into her. And I said, yes, I violated the order. That's because I rolled up. I didn't know she was there. I was going home to get my wallet. I forgot my wallet. I didn't know that she came to Bradley. I didn't know where was she at. I rolled up on her and I passed her. That's it. Never talked to her, see her, nothing, just passed her. Went home, got my wallet. And when I got home, my security camera picked me up. And I offered that video that I wasn't home. They said, yeah, we believe you were home. She went and got your wallet. And I went back to Bradley County. But before all that stuff, she said that she was afraid of me, that I was gonna, she started carrying a gun off duty. She said that she was afraid when we talked to her apartment. They all found out she lied on that. And everything that she's based that on is because when I went through my divorce, my ex-wife filed a order of protection against me, stating that I put a knife to her head, I was gonna cut her head off and kill her. So she got an order of protection against me. And I went to court and judged, it was dismissed. Because she was manipulated and strategy against me. So the judge found that she lied. I got cleared off of that. When OP asked the trooper, what was she afraid of me? She said, it's all second information, what I was told by my CPD friends. Girl locker room chat. And when they asked her if you actually talked to him, she said, no, there's just people just telling me about it. Only because of my ex-wife. And she said, he hasn't done anything to me. It just, I'm afraid because it's past what I've been told by second-hand information. And the CAD part said that we can see each other. Yes, that is true. I did not see on the CAD. She told him I was in Bradley. I was in the fog zone where I was supposed to be. I got through to southbound. She apparently told them that I was hiding in the trees. It's not true. Somewhere that I was hiding. She said that my car couldn't be seen and she was questioned. Then she changed the answer. Half the car was out, half wasn't. I was waiting for her there. I didn't know she was there. Whenever she passed, I do nothing. She even told them that she was tracking me on the cab to see where I was at. And 33 miles, I just rolled up on her. I never made contact with her. All I did was pass her. And we even asked the state to define a contact. They would tell us what a contact is. Me passing someone, I don't think that's a contact. And that was it. And she even told him that, yes, he got off the exit that he lives off of, went towards his house. And for some reason, they even asked her, well, she told them that I was behind her at the 25 mile marker. And the best thing that could have happened, me speeding when my camera kicked on, she was nowhere around. Video shows there was no one there. And she said that I was behind her the whole time. And when they asked her, when he was behind you or whichever, why don't you turn your camera on? She told them that it didn't feel like he reached that level and it wasn't appropriate and she wouldn't get in trouble by turning the camera on just to document if I was there. And she said if I stopped her or if I tried to do something, she definitely would have. But she wasn't there because, like I said, she said that my camera kicked on and she wasn't there. And my reasoning for being in there, I was supposed to be there due to the fog zone in Bradley County. And there was, one day she was asked if she was intimidated or why was she being intimidated? She couldn't even give him a correct answer. She said if you reached that level, she would have turned the camera on. So I don't know what was intimidating for her. Oh, and also she involved another trooper stating that I was telling the other trooper about me purposely following her, this, that, because apparently I was in a relationship with her now, which when they interviewed, she told them she lied. She never said that. She was just going around making stuff up just to make me look that I was doing this stuff on purpose. And after that, she talked to the lieutenant and she told the lieutenant, I can't believe they haven't fired him yet. I can't believe he's wearing a badge and I'm not going to stop making up stuff until they fire him. And that was never followed up to an investigation or nothing. And the report that she actually filed on me with the Chattanooga Police Department, she called one of her friends to report on. She didn't want to call 911 or non-emergency number. She called one of her friends, and we have a statement from him that says, I was asleep when she called me. And if that was a big of an issue, her being harassed, it took him 6 days to file that report. And they found out there's nothing there, so then they wouldn't investigate nothing. And me passing on the interstate, that was apparently the big issue that I've done something wrong. Just continuously, and her telling Lieutenant she's not gonna stop. The rest of it just keep going after me for no reason. She told Lieutenant, when we had a first meeting, Lieutenant pulled me in, we talked, and I never had a problem with it. She said, I don't have a problem with him working together or nothing. Never mentioned safety issue. There was nothing there. I worked a crash on the interstate, 1409, she worked a crash away from me. I rolled up on her and said, hey, you need some help? She said, no, and I left. Never got out of the car. She said that I harassed her by showing up to a crash scene, just asking if she needs some help. Then she said she's seen me in my personal vehicle twice. I'm off duty, I can go anywhere where she chooses. I didn't know that she was anywhere around. But she apparently told them that I was harassing her, stalking her. I left her stuff in our post. And then she told them that I sprayed my cologne all over her stuff, which is not true. I just left the shampoo, conditioner, sunglasses there. Took a
Let me
picture.
ask you a question, because this is becoming repetitive. The first question is to your attorney. You said that he's in stage 3 of the termination hearing, so they've upheld his termination twice previously.
So the step of appeal process, sir, is the first step is just the trooper and a supervisor or OPA. They don't have any evidentiary or representation rights. They can't have it.
Doesn't matter, I'm asking.
He's in step 3 at this point.
They've upheld his termination twice previously before this hearing you have scheduled. That's the question.
That's correct, yes.
Okay. Now to Mr. Belton. So you're saying your ex-wife lied about you? Your previous supervisor that filed the 7 complaints had it in against you, so he misled people on your allegations of complaints. That's true, right? That's what you're saying?
Correct.
So he lied to you. This other trooper that made these allegations is all she's saying is lies.
Yes,
And you're the only one telling the truth.
correct. And they've actually proven that in their statement where it says, let's see. OPA is finding on that Trooper Milovic and Trooper Jones on previous relationship. The evidence indicates Trooper Milovic ended the relationship. After the relationship ended, Trooper Jones alleged harassment, stalking by Trooper Milovic, and that she was in fear for her safety. There was insufficient evidence to support allegations, harassment, stalking by me.
But insufficient evidence doesn't mean it didn't happen, right?
That's how they categorize it, yes.
That's what I would categorize. You've been in law enforcement, right?
Correct.
You can have a case dismissed in court.
Right.
Didn't mean the case wasn't valid.
Right.
It just means somebody didn't find all the facts to be what you thought they were.
Well, I gave them all the facts. Like I said, when she's
Your side of it.
yes, I gave him all the stuff. All she was saying was this, the information I heard from someone else, by his ex-wife, previous ex-wife. And like I said, when we first meeting that we had Lieutenant, she never said anything about safety. Nobody had no issues, none of us. And apparently when the rumor started that I was dating someone else, that's when she started accusing me of all this other stuff. She got more jealous at me, in other words.
Okay.
And also, yeah, she apparently told the lieutenant when the meeting was over, we left, or I left. Lieutenant talked to her and he asked her if she was doing okay. She said no, because I took my daughter away from her, who she wants it, and that she's still in love with me and she wants me back. And after that, everything was good. We were told both of us. I didn't have a problem. She said she didn't have a problem. All of a sudden, about 4 days later, the safety issue came up.
Right, Commissioner Wright, I have 2 pretty simple questions. What is your assigned county at the time of this incident? Not the county that you were working. Is your assigned county, was it Bradley?
No, Hamilton County.
So you were out of county working a overtime or
No, I was just regular shift.
it was a regular shift?
Right.
Is is Hamilton County the one that they moved you from?
Correct.
Okay, so you was in Hamilton County, then they moved you over a county to create separation to Bradley. But Bradley is where they moved you to.
Correct.
And you was working a assignment that day, stationary assignment?
Well, it's fog zone, but where they have just gotta go through and make sure the fog is not too dense, so visibility wise.
Okay,
So you can alert dispatch, they can change the speed limit and TDOT and stuff.
okay. Well, we never deal with that over West Tennessee, so I wasn't sure.
72 car crash.
Yeah.
They
Okay.
work it all back in.
So you would have been sitting potentially stationary. And then you were never left the county when that 34 miles deal, when you got behind her and all that, you were still in Bradley County at the time, or you
I was
returning to Hamilton?
No, I was in Bradley on the fog zone to McMinn in Bradley County line. I turned around and went south. Going home together because I forgot my wallet. And she said that I followed. She actually told them I was watching him on the cab going north. Then I used the cut through. She said I was hiding in the woods with him.
I get all that, but do you currently live in Hamilton County at the time of that? So you was returning to Hamilton County?
Yes.
Okay. I don't have anything else.
Any other questions for Mr. Milovic?
I got some questions for the department.
Thank you, sir. If you would just step aside and if the agency would please come back up to the podium, please.
Thank you, sir. Yeah, Commissioner Wright, I guess the department's taking the stance of this as a totality of all of it together. So I guess we're gonna have to back up and hear the totality of what brought us to this being the deal that made y'all for termination. I know we was trying to skip those things, but I think we're gonna have to actually dive into them and see what they were, what was founded, what was unfounded, things that led up to that.
Yes, the seven prior instances, those were all sustained founded violations. And if I can I just speak to, he referenced a personality conflict with Captain Turner. And I just want to remind everybody that, Captain Turner is not in charge of the final discipline. He makes a recommendation. And that's why it goes through all the other layers to make sure, one, that we're being consistent across the state when people violate things, and we want to make sure we discipline appropriately, consistently. So the personality conflict, if there was that, which there's no evidence of that, if there was that, there's all these other layers that we're in agreement with Captain Turner's recommendations. Okay. In full transparency, his first violation, I was the district captain in Chattanooga that recommended the discipline that was approved by the commissioner. And in this history of the seven things, he has a history of violating orders as he did in this harassment issue. He has a history of excessive force and of just basically doing it his way. He, like I said, it started out with warnings progressively and ended up ultimately the most days he was suspended was 5 days for the excessive force issue out of an arrest in Hamilton County. And the issue of the whole day of following the other trooper back into Hamilton County, at the time, he was temporarily reassigned to Bradley County because of this investigation that was going on. We wanted to separate the members. And he forgot his wallet, which typically anytime you want to leave your assigned area, you request permission before you do that. And that didn't happen either. So I just want to make the commission aware of that as well.
Commissioner Wilbur, I just want to speak to my fellow commissioners on page 11 of our packet. Of these 7 violations, I think almost all 7 of them are backed up by video, body camera, vehicle camera. I think maybe the only one that's not is the first one, which was patrol unit crash while turning to stop a violator, but that might have been on video, but everything else looks like it was on. It's not a personality conflict when you got it on video. And that's just my comment I wanted to make.
Did any of the prior incidents will have a time off associated with them, or were they just all verbal written? What was?
No, sir, there was a 1-day suspension and the excessive force, I think, Commissioner approved 5-day suspension for that, sir. Yes, and there was another 1-day suspension for, yes, it was generated out of a citizen complaint. And inappropriately disposing of evidence, not following policy and procedures about evidence disposal. That was generated out of a complaint from a citizen, or was sustained as well. And he failure to follow orders in a pursuit that generated the other 1-day suspension. He'd been given permission to deploy spike strips if he had an optimum position, but not to engage actively in the pursuit. And he did that while having a trainee in his car.
Any other questions of the agency? Any other questions of Mr. Milovic, or would Mr. Milovic like an opportunity to provide any sewer rebuttal?
I did get permission from the supervisor to leave. It's in here for the OP investigation, says that I did get permission, and I do have a text message me asking to leave the county. The discipline part, I can just briefly go through it. The first one was the crash. Expressed before. Second was going to be me going to get somebody reporting me going 5 to 7 miles an hour over the speed limit. The 1-day suspension was mentioned. Second one was supposed to be a coaching session. It's not supposed to be part of your discipline history, but mine is. It was put in there for misuse of blue lights. And then with the FDO part, on that part, when it said about the spice here, that is correct. We were also told by the captain in our meeting when we had it that if it pertains to your job and dispatch knows about it, you can be engaged. That's what I've done with my FDO. I got a day off for it. And then I also got a oral warning for listening to music. And then the video about the pursuit that I got another written warning. I have all of that from DHP IT and Axon IT. The day I got in the pursuit and video disappeared. We don't know what happened. So they get involved, looked into it. They said, you had a software glitch, video disappeared, nothing that I could have done. I've not done anything wrong. I got brought up for it because in the memo states it is my responsibility to make sure that the software works correctly. And then I also on the another day I got suspended. I destroyed a roach, small roach that I found in the vehicle. And I do have an emails from it. And the district attorney at that time, he said, he sent out email to everyone saying, we do not prosecute small amounts of marijuana, doesn't want it. And we've been doing it for ever since he was the DA. But then I got suspended for a day because I destroyed this small roach. That we were told that they're not going to prosecute, the court's not going to prosecute it unless it's a large amount. And that's what we've been doing, what they wanted, but I got suspended for it.
That may be what they was wanting, but I don't think the general order says that.
That's correct, yes.
We're in discussion that I'm gonna ask my fellow commissioners. I'm leaning either toward decertification or sending it on to Informal. But I'll defer to Commissioner Wright. He has more experience with the highway patrol than I do.
Yeah, I was just sitting here reading through some of these, and a lot of these is obviously not the way that just highway patrol trains. They don't train people, a bunch of people in ribs to gain compliance. It seemed like there was numerous compliance and define of policies and procedures, and I'm gonna make a motion for decertification.
Then I will second it.
A motion and a second for decertification. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Counselor and Mr. Milovic, if you'll step outside with our investigator and they'll advise you of your next steps. Moving next to Department of Safety in the matter of Taylor James. Department would like to come back to the podium and proceed to the
Yes, Lieutenant Colonel Tim Spicer, THP. I have with me General Counsel Aaron Bagley.
As a senior associate counsel, not general counsel. But happy to be here. Thank you.
Again, Ms. James, in this matter, we feel like her credibility has been diminished due to a couple of things. The first instance was, as you all have in the termination letter before you, she shared law enforcement sensitive confidential information with a private citizen. And then there was another investigation that I want to make sure I speak accurately about this. That the investigation, there was sufficient evidence to prove that Taylor James drove after consuming alcoholic beverages. Video evidence shows that she failed to maintain her lane of travel and was stopped by Wilson County deputies. She performed poorly on field sobriety testing. Then it was also determined in this investigation that her statements were inconsistent with what she told Wilson County deputies and OPA investigators. There were inconsistencies in those statements.
Those inconsistent statements were she told officers on the scene that she had not had anything to drink when she was stopped by Wilson County officers. However, when she was during her OPA investigation, she told OPA investigators that she had had 5 truly alcoholic beverages and either 1 or 2 beers at a sports bar that she had just left prior to operating her.
This is Commissioner Wilbur. Has the DA decided to pursue charges on the DUI? They are not going to pursue.
I advise my client not to answer that question.
This Commissioner Green, was she in her issued vehicle or was she in an off-duty vehicle?
Do you know that question or should we get OPA?
No.
Okay, we're gonna have our OPA investigator come up and answer specific questions about the investigation.
Well, Sergeant King, with the Office of Professional Accountability.
Thank you.
Sorry,
Was she in her issued vehicle when she was stopped?
No, sir, she was in her personal vehicle.
And I'm assuming, was she placed under arrest at the scene?
I advise my client not to answer that question.
It's a factual question.
I understand, but I advise my client not to answer that question.
All right, so then I guess I have any more questions.
Any other questions for the agency?
Well, this Commissioner Green, I guess I will. If we don't have evidence in front of us, how do you want to proceed? Can you answer that question?
Yes, you can answer that question.
Say that one more time, sir. I'm sorry. You don't have evidence in front of you.
If you can't tell us anything factual
So
about the investigation.
Yes, sir. The facts of that, Ms. James was untruthful with the Wilson County deputy Not to reiterate, but then she obviously told him that she had nothing to drink. And to go up, Lieutenant Colonel, regarding the running tags and stuff of that nature through the NCIC, to provide that information to a citizen. Those are the basis of the determination, sharing confidential information to a private citizen, as well as being untruthful with the deputy on scene, contradicting herself when she was interviewed.
I think my client could also talk to what he observed on body camera footage during the course and scope of the investigation based on what they were able to observe of the standardized field sobriety.
So the investigator, you were able to see the body cam video from the Wilson County deputy?
Yes, sir.
And that allows you to believe that you should pursue an investigation?
Yes, sir. There were clues. She performed standardized field sobriety poorly. And then obviously that launched the investigation. Then comes to the fact of whenever she contradicted herself, comparing the video to when we spoke with her.
And the contradiction came from your viewing of the video?
Correct. And the statements that was, yes, sir, the statements that was made to the deputy. And then obviously the contradiction was telling OPA investigators that she had 5 Trulies along with 1 Miller or 1 beer, possibly 2 beers at this 4 grill modulator.
Trying to negotiate new rules.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Commissioner Wilbur, so in addition to the DUI stop, she's taking photographs of her lieutenant's computer screen. Do we know why?
So that was a separate investigation. She took photos of, she was requested by a private citizen. There was an ongoing investigation that was being conducted, and the private citizen wanted to know if he was being talked about. So Ms. James then took photos of her lieutenant's computer documents that were pertaining to that specific investigation and provided that to the private citizen.
There's no further questions for the agency. Thank you, and they may call you back up. Ms. James, counselor, if you would just approach the lectern and identify yourself for the commission, please.
Good afternoon again, Jack Bird, appearing for Ms. James, who is standing here next to me. Now you get the rest of the story. The incident that they're referring to about sharing the information, that was a picture. And in that picture, you can see the lieutenant is obviously there. She's not hiding that she's taking the picture. That involves a domestic violence incident that was initiated because some other troopers were concerned about her safety. The civilian that they're referring to at the time, she believed was still in law enforcement, and she was trying to prove to the perpetrator and suspect of the domestic violence that no one was talking about her, or about him, excuse me. Additionally, in that, the blue team report that was submitted on that incident and signed off by the colonel was for 1-day suspension and remedial training in cyber. That never got issued because of the incident that happened in Mount Juliet. Addressing the incident that happened in Mount Juliet, it's important to look at the timeline and what occurred with that. This occurred on Saturday, approximately 11 p.m. is when she was stopped by Mount Juliet police. When she was released the next day, she promptly reported that she had been arrested. Then on Monday morning, she reported to medical for an MLE exam. One of the things that the department failed to acquire, and I currently have a FOIA request for with Mount Juliet PD, is the videotape from the bar where she is seen walking, being led out of the bar and across the parking lot by a gentleman that she does not know who he is. She believes she was drugged in that bar. She submitted for an MLE exam, timely, tried to get that done on Monday. She was referred to her primary care, who then referred her to another. During this time period, she's talking to her command chain, and they go ahead and disempower her because she was arrested, as we know happens with any officer that gets arrested for DUI. The officer from Mount Juliet, although he got a search warrant for her blood, never actually had it executed and got her blood. If he had have done that, they would have been able to complete that investigation that was done. Again, I have a FOIA request to get that entire investigative report from Mount Juliet and get that video, should it be needed. But she promptly reported that. The difference between what she told the officer on the scene and what she told the investigators has a lot to do with the fact that she remembers nothing from the time she was in that bar until she was released from jail after that. This is a case of where the trooper was drugged in a bar. She was potentially a victim of a sexual assault. She reported it. She tried to get medical help. She went to get the test done. Unfortunately, as we know, the time period that went by, there was nothing in her bloodstream at that point. So she couldn't do anything. We're asking that there be no action taken on this. She was not convicted in Mount Juliet of a charge that would disqualify her from having her post certification. And those charges were expunged, which is why the department is hesitant to speak about them. But she did not plead to any DUI or any other charge that would prevent her from holding a post certification. And we're asking that the commission not take any action on it. Further, her current dismissal is under judicial review because the Step 3 appeal was missed due to the prior counsel she had missed a deadline and did not respond in time. So it was dismissed at the 3 level. That was not her fault. She has documentation where she attempted to submit everything. Prior counsel evidently did not have a lot of experience in doing these matters and acknowledged he was counsel, designated how he wished to receive emails, and then missed a filing deadline. And as you know, with the state, you miss a filing deadline, you're dead in the water. That is now under judicial review and in Chancery Court in Davidson County at this time.
Commissioner Wilbur, so she's got an expungement, so she's not under probation or any conditions of the court at all.
No, ma'am.
Can I just ask you to talk about this history of taking photos to run BIN numbers for private law firm?
Well, it was, I'll let her address that. It wasn't for a law firm. Go ahead.
Ma'am, it was for a person who I believed it was still a law enforcement officer. Also, this subject is the same subject that's in the domestic violence allegations. And the reason that my captain sent out the sheriff's office to my home to do a welfare check. So the subject that is mentioned of a private law firm, I was under the impression that he was still a police officer.
I have just a follow-up question. So if you thought that person was a police officer, would they not have access to the same information you did as a police officer?
Yes.
So why would that supposed police officer need you to run that information?
He was an investigator, so I don't know if he had direct PCIC access. He knew that I had access right there in my car. I guess he thought it was easier just to text me and ask for it.
Commissioner Green, but you ran it because he thought he might be involved in a domestic violence issue or domestic issue?
No, sir, I ran it because if I didn't, it would have caused issues at home. I was involved with this person in a romantic relationship. He lived in my house. And if I didn't do things that he asked of me, it was always a problem.
The person you ran the NCIC check?
Yes, sir, correct.
And even if he was in law enforcement, it would also create a paper trail that he had run the information, just like it did for you.
Correct, yes, sir.
Okay.
Any other question for Ms. James or her counselor? Thank you.
Just a quick
Would the
rebuttal.
agency like to respond?
Yes.
As far as the Mount Juliet Police Department, they did send a detective out to scoreboard bar and grill. There was an investigation done through the report. Based on the report, it states that Ms. James, the parking lot footage showed that she was coherent, walking on her own free will, and appeared to be willingly be accompanying individual. So that's what the report states from the Mount Juliet Police Department. And at the time, as far as her running the NCIC, stuff of that nature, to that individual, to say that she was in a relationship with that individual, if he was a police officer or not.
I think the department is concerned that if she was in a relationship with this individual and all he had to do was ask her for confidential information, and it just took a simple ask for her to be willing to give out that confidential information, then we have a problem with her ability to maintain confidential information, whether she's with THP or whether she goes to another agency. Furthermore, she's told you here today that she didn't know whether he was in law enforcement. She's also told you that he lived in her home. I find it unbelievable that she didn't know, or she didn't know whether he was in law enforcement. I'll leave that up to the board to decide whether they believe that statement. And finally, Ms. James' attorney is correct that on June the 10th, there was a drug screen. I think it was a 5-panel drug screen. It could have been a 6-panel drug screen that was administered at the hospital. It was probably 18 hours after she was pulled over by Wilson County. The drug screen results all came back negative for all tested substances.
All tested, so what about alcohol?
Well, alcohol was not tested. It was a drug panel from a hospital's office of benzodiazepine, opioids, things like that.
Just one clarification.
Any other questions? Thank you. Counselor, Ms. James, if would opportunity to respond.
Just to respond to a couple of things, as far as the drug screen that was done, it was not done for the standard date break drugs because of the time period that had gone by. As you know, those dissipate through the system fairly quickly. Although she tried to get that done, she did submit for an MLE. I don't think anyone presents theirself for that exam without having a reason for going doing it. I don't believe it was because she thought she was going to get disciplined from the THP. We would again ask that there be no action taken on her post-certification. The case is still under review for her termination from the Chancery Court. And as far as the running of the tag numbers, she would not be the first woman involved in a domestic violence incident that was being lied to by the person that was abusing her. Sure.
Also, the subject said to me that if I did not get those statements, that he would have me fired. He's also the same subject that submitted the complaint that has all the evidence that they're using today. So everything, the photos, the NCIC, all of that is from this subject who was found in their own investigation to have lied to them.
Commissioner Green, but He may have lied, but he did provide evidence that you did do these things.
Yes, sir.
So those were truthful
Yes, sir. And,
accusations.
yes, sir. And I admitted to that in the OPA investigation. I was truthful the entire time. The fact of me not knowing he was still in law enforcement, apparently he was on the leave that you take right before you retire. So I guess that's why I didn't realize that his time had run out.
If I may, commissioners, regardless of what happens with her employment with THP, if she gets hired by another agency, she's going to have to explain why she left. That's always going to be there. Another agency can look at her. She had a good career. She's been a good trooper. She is also a member of the Tennessee National Guard. She serves honorably with them. And again, we ask that you take no action on her post-certification.
Commissioner Wilbur, Mr. Byrd, you may not know the answer to this. Would her actions of taking photos of confidential information, would that be Giglio material?
I do not believe it would be of what the photos are of. I don't believe it would be.
Thank you.
Any further discussion?
This Commissioner Green, to my commissioners, I'm torn from the fact that we have an expunged criminal violation for potential DUI. I am concerned about the use of NCIC inappropriately because that can also be a criminal violation by itself, even though there are no charges brought against for that. And I don't know if there's any indication that that would be pursued. So I'm torn. So I will do as I've done before. I will turn to one of the other two commissioners to get their input.
This is Commissioner Wilbur. I guess my initial reaction is just to say to take this to the full commission. I can make that, I'll make that a formal motion. But I'm open to discussion.
We have a motion to move to a formal hearing. Any other discussion or a second?
A moment for discussion. Ms. Burke, can I ask her a few questions for you? So to me, it hinges a lot around this relationship with this person that you was getting this information forward. How long had you been in that relationship?
I think he lived in my home for a year.
For a year. For what purposes do you know that he was wanting that information?
He texted me and asked, the text message, I believe, said, does this vehicle have insurance?
Do you have any reasoning to know why he would have been asking that?
No, sir.
Am I understanding correctly, if you didn't do these things, then you would be potentially subject to domestic violence at home when you got home?
Yes.
So you had experienced that before, or was it just written?
Yes.
It's a very unique situation for sure.
So I had tried to get him to leave my home because it was a home that I rented from another trooper and he wouldn't leave. So I moved out very quickly after this entire, all of this. There's several reports.
I would hate to think that you, as a Tennessee Highway Patrol trooper, would not know the avenues that a woman who's been going through domestic violence situations like that, not know an avenue to seek treatment or seek protection, seek anything from. You would think that all these women that are in these situations, a lot of them, they're fearful for those things, but it seems to me like you would be a little bit more insulated to being able to reach out and get those things.
Yes, sir. I reached out to my lieutenant and he offered all of the avenues for domestic violence. I'll file police reports every time that he come by my house.
Is this post all this stuff, or was that during? What was the timeline on that?
Before, sir. This was, I moved out and he figured out where I moved to. He would come by my house, stalk me. I have photos, I filed the police reports. The event that started all of this, I was on a strike team deployment in Nashville. And some other troopers expressed their concerns for my safety because they heard a phone conversation I had with him. They went to my captain. I was on my way back home that evening and my captain sent the police for a welfare check to my house.
Well, this is to you,
Right.
or out to the commissioners. Again, I'll go back with the DUI being expunged or potential DUI being expunged. And I'm torn about this NCIC use because of what happened. But having dealt with a lot of emotional attachments from domestic violence victims, it doesn't really matter what job they're in as to the control that the abuser has. So again, as you said, this is into that difficult decision thing. So I'm torn.
I am too.
Sir, if I may, it's a pride thing. You know, it's difficult to be a police officer.
I can see that.
And be a
I can understand that. I can definitely see that as well.
Can I just jump in real quick?
Can.
Commissioner?
We're kind of open forum right now.
Would you be open to any kind of negotiation of a temporary suspension of your certification? And you can talk about it, but that's one avenue that we have that we could pursue.
I guess kind of the question behind that was what's your admiration for law enforcement now? What are you currently doing now? What do you want to do?
I work for TINA currently.
Okay.
My plan is to be a trooper again. We'll see how that goes.
So you definitely want to be in law enforcement, sure.
Yes, sir. Absolutely. That's one of my.
If it's not the highway patrol, is there another jurisdiction or anything that you would still be interested in law enforcement, or is it like highway patrol or nothing?
No, sir, it's not highway patrol or nothing. Being a trooper is who I am and what I want. But if I have to serve the state of Tennessee somewhere else, I'm willing to do so.
We still have a motion on the floor for a full formal hearing.
It won't hurt my feelings if you don't say.
I mean, it's like,
Yeah.
Is there a second? If not, the motion dies.
Commissioner Wright, I'm gonna make a motion for no action.
We have a motion for no action.
Thank you both.
And there might be something in the middle.
I'm gonna second no action. Commissioner Green.
Motion and a second for no action. Any other discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
No.
We have one no. Motion passes.
Commissioner Wright, I do want to make a statement here. Ms. James,
Yes.
if you, something good and positive needs to come out of this of trying to help women that are involved in domestic violence situations. I'm not sure exactly what that is, but let's see if we can make something good come out of this in the end, please.
Yes, sir.
Best of luck.
Commissioner, if I may, the next gentleman on the agenda.
Yes, Councilman.
Mr. Tercey, I've spoken to Ms. Nicely, and what he would like to do, if the commission will allow, he wants to enter into a voluntary surrender of his post commission and go forward from that angle.
And we've discussed that, and I'm happy to send you the paperwork to sign on that agreed order of surrender. And then you guys are on the agenda tomorrow for the other matter.
Yes,
I'll give you that paperwork tonight.
I'm sorry.
If it's the commission's will,
Yes, ma'am.
I can give you that paperwork tonight for signature.
Do we need to do what we've done in the past and just set it forward for another month, just to, in the case that he does not sign the paperwork?
I think that's fine. I think we can probably get it through in the next few hours, but if not,
If-
then so next month's fine.
If we can have the paperwork, we're gonna be before the commission tomorrow.
Right. It would only be placed on the agenda in the event that it's not signed.
Right. I believe if I have that today, we will have it tomorrow signed, that we can submit it for the voluntary surrender.
Council, do you have? Erin Begley again for Department of Safety and Homeland Security. If we could get notice or notification when he signed that, so that way be able to let our.
Give me your phone number.
Okay. More so from Mayor Beth, you could let us know when he has signed that.
Absolutely, I will. And tomorrow, once the chair signs it, it'll be official and let you guys know.
Thank you.
Commissioner Wright, so I think we'll make a motion to schedule it 1 month pending it not being signed. It's took care of tomorrow, then it's okay.
Correct.
Okay.
All right. Let's go back and just call the few names of the folks that have not appeared yet and are not present, but we can deal with them probably all in one motion. We've not heard or seen from Mr. William McNally. William McNally, the Shelby County Sheriff's Office. Jonathan Bailey. Jonathan Bailey. Jason Bowles. Jason Bowles. Here's those 3 individuals are not present. What's the will of the commission?
Commissioner Wright makes a motion for default decertification.
Commissioner Green, second.
We have a motion and a second for default decertification for those not present. Any other further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? None. Motion passes. Those will be our matters for the agenda. This will conclude our proceeding for this month. Thank you very much, everyone.